so we can send it to our friends who missed it. Paul, can we take Ginger off the get well list?
Oh yeah, she's well.
Paul's well, and we know Randy's well, but Randy, I still think you ought to give us a few words on how you're doing.
Randy's frozen.
Randy, you there? You're frozen.
Okay, we'll wait for him to unfreeze.
Could I get who else is on the phone? I got Bob Church. There's two others.
We've got Al Pasco, who's a guest, and we've got Joan Natali, who's a guest.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to start off on a very positive note. The board just met an hour ago, and Paul Strong and Bill Stram announced to us that once again, our Rotary Club is an E-Ray club. And an E-Ray club is a club that every member, on average, has contributed $100 to the Rotary Foundation. And we're very proud of that record because it's been around as long as I've been around. Paul or Bill, would you like to add to that?
No, nothing to add.
I'll add to that. E-Ray, for those of you who are not familiar, means every Rotarian every year. And I echo Paul's or Bill's platitudes, if you will. But the thing is we're also probably going to break our club record for donations this year to the foundation.
That is great. That is great news. And I didn't know that, so that is super.
Somebody has a lot of background noise going on that they could mute.
Yeah, why don't you just all mute yourself unless you want to talk? I'm opposed to the universal mute. I don't like that, but there we go. Thank you for bringing that up, Paul. I'm going to ask Reggie and Regina to lead discussions around our meeting venue, how we meet, why we should meet, the pros and cons of meeting at the coffee house, and so on. So this is something that we want to hear from you on. So you got the ball, Reggie.
Reggie, you're mute. You have to take yourself off mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Thanks, Paul. Yes, we are in a situation where we would like to begin to figure out how we're going to transition back to the normal, or at least the new normal, where we can physically enjoy each other's company and have the meetings. A couple of ideas that we discussed a little earlier. One is the social, which we are accustomed to having typically like once a month, and the other is our regular meeting. The social, we are exploring the possibility of having it in the park one evening, perhaps the last Tuesday of this month. And on the regular meetings, we are looking at the option of getting back to a venue, the coffee house, for example, for regular meetings. We have some work to do as it regards to determining what the capacity of the restaurant is to make sure that we're within the guidelines, but we'll take care of that. So I think what we want to do is just get some feedback on how people feel regarding coming together, even though for now, at least, we have to social distance, and we would ensure that we are following the guidelines of social distancing. And so, Regina, is there anything that you would like to add to that before we get some feedback from some of the members?
how do you want to do this? By way of email or what? And have everybody respond with their,
No, right now. Let's talk about it.
okay.
Jim, what do you think?
How does everybody feel about going back to the coffee house? Or is there another venue somewhere else that you would be more likely to go to? How do you feel even just going out to the park for the social?
I'm comfortable with the park.
Park is good.
Okay, David, I see that you have some thoughts on that.
David, you're on mute.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not going into my office all summer long unless I have an appointment to meet somebody outside and to go show them a house, you know, wearing a mask and gloves. So I'm not even opening my office door. So indoors is not something I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
Outside, I think I could be comfortable, but that's my, thank you.
Okay, Blair.
Thanks, David.
If I could add something, we also discussed for if we do start having face-to-face meetings simultaneous to that, we would set up the screen and a projector and still allow people to come in to a general face-to-face meeting by Zoom. We would have a Zoom session set up as well.
Yes, thanks, Laura. That's true. Any other feedback, any other comments or thoughts?
Well, Zoom works for me. I'm not ready to be doing face-to-face.
Understandable.
Reggie, I would be comfortable with meeting in the park. My own personal opinion, I have some underlying family issues that I have to be very safe during these times, not just for myself, but family member. And but I think meeting in the park would be okay because it's very easy. That's outside and it's very easy to keep the proper distance. So I would support that for sure.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Any other quick thoughts before we move on? So it seems like
I have a question. What's it going to take, people who are hesitant? What's it going to take for you at some point to make the decision, hey, I can go out and act normal again? Is it something from the government you need to hear, from the medical profession? What finally triggers it and says, hey, I can actually sit in a restaurant again?
Well, I'm a cautious person, so it's going to be a long time before I do that. I know I'm in the group that's especially sensitive to if I get it, you know, not having a good outcome. So on a personal basis, I don't see any reason to take any risk for me. There's just no reason for me to do that.
David has.
I understand, Diane. I see another hand up.
David.
Thank you. That's a good question. You know, these mass meetings, there's a big fear that there's going to be a big spike in infections after the mass meetings all around the country. So I'd like to wait at least another month to see how our cases in Virginia go and in Northampton County. And then also, you know, I think if everybody in our group could get tested and we know that none of us have it, or at least we all can meet together assured that that we can give that assurance that Dr. Clark, what do you suggest we do?
Paul, I think he's asking you.
No, Dr. Clark.
The only problem
is you could be negative one week and then positive the following week. So,
Sure.
I think it's everybody's personal preference. I think the governor has said we're in stage 2, and I think the restaurants are able to open at 50% capacity, but I think the outside meeting is the best option at this point. So we'll just have to see how things go, and we could always take a poll via email and see what people think, individually, as far as getting together in person inside the restaurant.
Well, I think if you have the Zoom option, then it's a win for everybody. Those that are comfortable in person, it's fine. And those who rather do Zoom, you have it. So everybody has an opportunity.
That's a great point, Diane. It seems like the general consensus here is, an outdoor meeting where we have plenty of space and can socially distance is a potentially viable option. And on our regular meetings, at least for now, and this is just my perspective, for at least now until next month, we should perhaps not consider doing an indoor meeting at the coffee house, and work towards getting an indoor meeting on a regular basis after that time frame. How do you all feel about taking that approach to the next 3 or 4 weeks?
I agree.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, great. Anything else, Regina, before we turn it back over to Bill?
No, I'm just concerned about the logistics and getting everybody out there. The social, you're going to have family there possibly. So, I'm just a little concerned about getting everybody out to the Central Park and getting the chairs and anything else that we need set up for each meeting.
Okay,
Social,
Regina,
I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, but regular meetings out there, I think is going to be a bit much.
Okay, well, let's talk about that more offline, Regina, because it may just make more sense to spread it out a little more. But we'll talk about it offline and make some recommendations to Bill, okay?
Okay.
Reggie, Regina, thank you so much for that. And if you have any afterthoughts, get back to Reggie, Regina, or even me, and we'll figure this thing out. It's not going to be as easy as just marching into the coffee house, but that's the price we pay for maintaining the mission, because we want to keep our club viable, active, and enthused about things. And there's nothing like getting together in person to keep that going. So, Randy, before we go to our next announcement or discussion point, your system had frozen, and we wanted an update on how you were doing.
My system is frozen. I'm doing very well. No problems. Can you hear me?
Yeah, great. And that's good news. That is super. Bill Murphy, will you talk to the membership about the Kip the Peak Student of the Year and what we're doing and the event coming up?
Sure. I think everyone's aware that every year we honor one of the graduating 6th graders from Kip the Peak with a Student of the Year award. And we also present 2 runner-up awards. The winner gets his or her personal plaque and a $50 gift card, and the 2 runners-up receive a certificate and a $25 gift card. And then we have a large plaque that stays in the school trophy case that we have the winner's name engraved on. This year, it wasn't clear whether we were going to be able to do that or not, but the school has decided to do sort of a virtual award this coming Friday. And we found that out a little bit too late to have everything in hand in time for it to actually be presented or sent to the winner. But the young man that's the winner this year, I understand, will be on the conference, and myself, I'll be on there, and we're going to at least announce his name and tell him what he'll be getting. And when we from the Russell Hampton grade up to either Katie Pittman or Amy Halleck at the school, and they will be sure that the young man gets it along with the gift card. So I'll be getting the information on that later on in the week. And if anybody would like to maybe join in and see the ceremony Friday night, I think it's at 6, let me know and I'll send you a link to it. But I'm glad we could do that because those kids really enjoy that. And it's always kind of a highlight of the end of the year stuff for us. So the 4th year we've done it. So it's a lot of fun and I'm glad we're going to be able to do it.
I'm interested, Bill.
Okay, I'll get you the link, Regina. I don't have it just yet, but I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
And I have a picture
go-
of the plaque and the inscription if you'd like to see it.
Go ahead, Paul.
All right, let's see if I, all right, let's see if I can do this. Share screen. Oops. All right, can you see it?
Nope.
Oh.
You did it before, Paul. You can do it. You can do it.
All right, why isn't this working?
Paul, would you like us to come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Joan Natali, are you there?
I
don't hear-
am.
What do you think of us so far as we bumble around?
Well, we're all acting like we're doing the best we can.
There you go, and we always do, and we have a lot of successes. Before we let Bill Murphy go, I just want to acknowledge once again, to those who don't know, Bill Murphy is the Cape Charles Rotary Club's face to Kipta Elementary. You would think Bill was on the staff over there with regard to what he does working with the principal and the staff, what he's done to help ensure we're able to help some kids who wouldn't have any help at all if it wasn't for Rotary. So Bill, thanks again for all you do there. You've got a full plate, but you find time to do it. So thanks again.
Well, you're sure welcome, Bill, but don't leave yourself and Paul out of that too, because every year I lean on you guys to help me get the plaque ordered and get things done. And Paul's always right on top of that, including again this year. And I know you've gone to the ceremony before when we did it at school, and so has Paul. So I appreciate everybody's support of that. And hopefully next year, maybe we can get a good group of 10 or 12 people to actually go to the awards, because I think you'd find it very rewarding.
Yeah, the kids love it. So while Paul continues to work at that, I'll remind everyone, and we don't have many people to remind. Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
Ta-da.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
nice.
that looks nice.
And there's,
That's it, Paul. Leave it
I
alone.
have the inscription here too. There, can you see the inscription?
Well, can you read it to us?
It says presented to Luis Perez, Student of the Year. Do you see it?
We can see it, but it's not big enough to read.
Oh, really?
For me, it's not.
Okay. Fills up the screen on mine, but
The person's name on this one is Jerry Gibson.
Yeah, but that's just a mock-up.
no, this is, yeah. Okay, well, it doesn't, this is, okay, never mind. Doesn't, I'll stop the
Very
share.
nice.
All right.
Chuck is a stickler for accuracy. So, but you get the spirit of it, and we'll continue to do that year after year. This must be our 3rd or 4th year, Bill. 4th year. That is super. So we've got a tradition we have to continue. The Shore Delivery Corps continues. We have pretty much papered the Eastern Shore, so the demand on the Shore Delivery Corps is down. In fact, the Shore Delivery Corps will not deliver free paper goods unless it's associated with the delivery of groceries or prescriptions. So we're kind of getting there, but we still could use volunteers. So if you're interested in, I think most of us are too old to deliver, but if you're interested in taking calls, get a hold of me and we'll get you signed up. We're still looking for a highway czar. If you have a little pickup truck or can borrow a pickup truck, you are a candidate to be a highway czar. So if your buddy isn't on the meeting and your buddy has a pickup truck, lean on your buddy. So you'll be killing two birds with one stone. Somebody needs to mute themselves. All right. So call your buddies. Continue to invite your friends and neighbors. Regina, thank you for inviting Joan. And Al, we want to acknowledge that you have joined us electronically 3 weeks in a row, or close to 3 weeks in a row, 3 out of 4 maybe. You there, Al?
I'm here. And yeah,
Al,
that sounds about right.
so we are going to informally welcome you to Rotary. What we're going to do is this afternoon, I will bring the application form and put it in your mailbox.
That's great.
I'm going to walk all the way across the street and do that. And you call me when it's ready. And I'm looking forward to the day that we can personally welcome Al and give him his pin, put his pin on. And he's just a great guy. I know him probably better than most of you, but I'm sure you'll be sharing my feelings shortly. So informally, thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Okay, has anybody got anything for the good of Rotary they would like to say before we invite Randy to talk about a really huge initiative?
We're going to eliminate happy dollars today.
Oh, well, that's just Paul, relax. I got this all choreographed.
That was a test for you, Paul.
yeah, that was a test to see if Paul was listening. Oh God, I love Paul. Oh, not only is he the historian and the what's that other thing? Inspector General.
You're gonna call
Inspector
him.
General. Now he's the timekeeper. You know when they make movies, they have the person that sits over there to make sure you say the right thing at the right time.
You're just wasting time, Bill.
Okay, you're right. Sorry, Paul. You can't take it. You know, John can take it. You know, when I beat up on John, he just smiles. All right, Randy, what do you got to say?
Okay. Not happy dollars, the other subject. Okay, which is that the district has asked the clubs to report in on their activities in the community to support the COVID problem. And I'm in the midst of putting that together. I want to share with you what we've done, which is really, I think, for a club our size, pretty impressive. Financially, we have contributed $8,000 to different food programs.
Hang on, Lori.
The Food Bank of the Eastern
Hang on, Lori's tax return.
4,000. April First Baptist Church was 2,000. Save the Children 1,000, and the Eastern Shore Boys Club was. In addition to that, we have supported the coffee house with some of their overhead expenses while they've been able to, while they haven't been able to function, you know, in their normal capacity. I think the last thing that I want to include in there is the Shore Delivery Corp. Anyone who has participated in that, if you just drop me an email and let me know. I want to just get a head count. I won't enclose the names, just a head count of the people that have participated. And based on Bill's comment, it sounds like the scope of that is pretty extensive. So we can sort of say we reached out, covered the whole county. So that's what's going on in that regard.
Okay, now segue to your initiative with respect to Happy Dollars.
Okay, well, if we can start the Happy Dollars, I will pledge $5
You don't have it.
in happy dollars because we have happy dollars. Now, you're going to have to take that. There you go. This is probably going to be backwards when I hold it up to my camera, but I'm not as good as putting things on the screen as Paul is, so we're just going to have to deal with it. But through the course of all of our Zoom meetings.
I'm going to bring it up while you're talking.
Oh yeah, you're way to go.
I think I saved it.
We've continued on with the happy dollars. We've accumulated substantial happy dollars. I think we're approaching 500 or maybe a little over $500. And of course, the issue came up, well, how do we let people know what they pledged? And we'll continue to pledge, hopefully, and in fact, maybe increase. So the first time we get together after we've escaped from COVID-19, I think what we're going to try to do is hand out a series of awards to all the people who've persevered and made happy dollar commitments during the Zoom meetings with a certificate. And the certificate is also a subtle way of reminding everyone that here's what you've pledged. So now maybe it's time to come forward with the cash. It's a nice way of doing it. Bill, do you have it?
Yeah, I'm just hang on. Here it is. I was waiting for you to finish.
I'm finished. There it is. That'll be the
That's nice.
COVID Beater Award. And when we hand those out, it won't necessarily be in order, and we won't announce the pledge of any individual. We'll just hand them out and have a little fun with it. Okay.
I think that's a great idea. Randy came up with this idea, and I think it's super because we're kind of working in the blind here. It's not the same as when you're in the room, but now we'll have one big hurrah at the end where all of the happy dollars will be recognized. Randy will be like the principal passing out these diplomas. I can picture it. It's going to be outstanding. So I am so happy with your initiative, Randy. I am happy to the tune of $10.
Okay.
Bill, I'll add 5.
Who was that added 5?
Me. Perfect.
Thank you, Bill.
Somebody's phone.
Jim Rowe, you can mute your
Hello?
phone.
Yeah. Bill, you can mute him. I can't do it, but you can.
Yeah, I hate to do the thought of doing that to Jim is.
Well, he can still hear us.
I know. I just don't like to do that to him.
Bye.
Let me find him.
He's off.
They had to call you on the.
Hi, hey, Bill.
He's muted. You happy, Diane?
Bill.
Yes.
I have 15 happy dollars, and the 5 is because Andre's been waiting patiently, and like Paul, we need to move on and get to him. I have 5 each for the Christian school and for my church, Cape Charles Baptist, both of whom got PPP loans, and now with the change in the structure, we were already pretty much there. It looks like we're going to get 100% of the loan forgiven, which amounts to about $65,000 for the Christian school and $39,000 for my church. And in both cases, we've kept people on the payroll and done other things so that we're spending the money not only properly, but for the community at large and the people on our staff too, so that there's been no diminution of the people who are getting paid. They've been paid the whole time. So I'm happy about that.
Thank you, John. And we are coming up on our speaker time. So any last happy dollars? Okay, well, we thank you for that. And once again, Randy, we thank you for the Happy Dollar COVID Beater Award. And we'll be coming back to that hopefully sooner than. Al is on. Al, mute yourself. Okay, Andre, let me tee you up. Who doesn't know Andre Elliott? Raise your hand. Okay, there are one or two people, Andre, who haven't had the pleasure of meeting you. I'll just tell you that Andre is a good buddy. He's past president of the Onankalak Rotary Club, and you're about to become president again. I understand. I know because Andre and I had the pleasure of driving up to Pets or whatever it is, as I did with Alan years ago. Andre's a native of Cape Charles. He's done just about every job imaginable on Earth. But what I'm most impressed with is he's smarter than the average bear. And you don't get to know that until you spend some time with somebody. So Andre, tell us about yourself a little more and then tell us about what's going on in the world of the YMCA.
All right, thanks, Bill, for the kind words. As most of y'all know, Bill, you know a lot of that was lies, but I would, yes, as he said, I'm Andre Elliott. I am the executive director at the Eastern Shore Family YMCA and only. And eventually when y'all's YMCA in Cape Charles opens up, me and my staff are going to oversee that operation as well. So in that capacity, I have a little bit more information than most about what's happening down there. But as you could probably imagine, with COVID and things being the way they are, our timelines are a little bit off, and we're finally regrouping and getting back on track with it. So many of you know I came and spoke to you last year about the YMCA in Northampton County, and I've got an update. For those of you that went to the town hall meeting in at Cape Charles Baptist Church back in February, there's not going to be a whole lot more information. I do have some updated pictures and renderings of the facility, and I'll be prepared to answer any questions I can. And if I don't have an answer, I'll be happy to research it with our corporate office and the folks in charge of the project and get back to you. Sound good? All right, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's see how good I am at this. All right, you guys see me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yes.
Okay. So Northampton County YMCA, I can, okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you a rendering of the building, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through it and show you what each section is for right now. So this will be the front of the building facing 13 when you walk in. And as you walk through the double doors, we're going to have a very large fitness center here on the right-hand side. That's where your machines, free weights, treadmills, and things like that are going to be located right in here. This little space right here is to stay and play. One of the services we offer at the Y is parents that come to exercise with their children can drop them off for up to 2 hours while they exercise, so that having to find childcare isn't a problem for people that are trying to stay healthy. Another thing we do here is we offer a free babysitting service a couple times a month, where people that are members can bring their kids and drop them off, and then they'll be able to go out in the town and spend a couple hours frequenting your restaurants and bars and things like that, and have somebody to watch their kids for a couple hours as part of the membership. This space right here matters not to anybody. That's just some office space. But right out front will be our check-in kiosk, lobby, and all of that. When you continue down the hall, we'll have a very large aerobics room here on the right-hand side, where we'll teach all of our group exercise classes. The room behind that is a multi-purpose space, which is going to be a place where we can do things like hold community meetings, games, kids activities, and things of that nature. To the left, you see the 2 locker rooms. The women's locker rooms on this side, men's locker rooms over here. These rooms right here are family changing rooms. And what that is it's going to be a toilet, shower, sink, and a locker, or maybe 2 lockers, where a family can go in and change and take their children, where you don't have to have children running around the locker rooms where everybody else is trying to get changed. That's something that we have struggled with up here because we don't have that set up in Only. And I think for the folks down the county, it's going to be a very nice piece to have. And then the last room back here is a mechanical room, which is going to have all of your boilers and pool equipment and things like that. So, any questions so far?
I don't see a swimming pool.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. All right. So, this is an artist rendering of what the outdoor pool is going to look like. It's going to have 4 lanes for lap swimming, and then we're still working on what we're going to do with the kiddie pool side, where we're going to land with that. But it's going to be something similar to this, with probably a 0 depth entry and some play features and whatnot. I know that the next question is going to be about the cover. We are, I don't have a whole lot of answers about the cover right now. I do know that we had started fundraising for that piece, and that there is there has been significant donations made towards that end. The cover was an additional $300,000 or thereabout on top of the cost of the facility, as it wasn't a planned part of the process. But that is that's where we are there. Okay, so again, many of you know this, but I'm going to just give you a brief timeline of where things are. And this was, again, the same presentation that was given in February. So some of the stuff on the back end, I'll have to update you differently on that. But February 2019, Bruce Bradley and Russell Goodrich met with the YMCA leadership, and they talked about the feasibility of having a project like a YMCA in Northampton County. They figured that the Wise Capital investment would be fully funded by contributions, so that the YMCA didn't have to put money out to build this facility. And there's a very specific reason for that. You know, it's very expensive to run facilities like this. The one here in Only, even with the good works we're doing and the amount of money that we bring in through our philanthropy and our operations, still runs a deficit of about $200,000 a year that's funded by the YMCA Southampton Roads. So the Y didn't want to get into a situation where they had another that they were going to have to fund like that, but they also recognized the need to have something in Northampton County. That's why this partnership was so good. Not having any debt going into this gives the YMCA the chance it needs to be successful. And from what I've seen, from the support that we've gotten so far and talking to people, I feel like it's going to be a very successful venture. So next, the local government leaders supported annual contributions to help fund the Y's operations. CBBT and the Oyster Company, I'm assuming that meant Oyster Farm, they agree to pay a percentage of Y dues for their employees. This is really good. And another thing to talk about there is that's a big part of our operating with the Y, is we work with corporate companies that are willing to pay a percentage of their employees' dues, where we do a match to help bring down the cost of memberships. And we're doing this with A&N Electric Cooperative in Riverside. And we've got over 100 members between the two of those companies that are utilizing the YMCA and I say members, that's just memberships, which represents a lot more people. But that's A&N and Riverside families that are using the facility. So it's a really good partnership that we do. They had the first $1 million gift pledged, and then they got $1 million gift matched. So now they're up to $2 million on the project at that point. They had 3 additional donors pledge $250,000, identified the site, and a letter of intent was signed. At this point, the Y owns the property, and it's being prepared now to start construction. They had established a $4.5 million budget to build with the heated outdoor pool and the lap construction play pool. That goal has been the last time I was notified, it was pretty darn close to being there. Phase 1 environmental study was completed. Phase 2 environmental survey was completed with additional water and soil samples and all the testing that went with that. Still unmet, so there was an unmet fundraising goal of $115,000 at the time of this. It has, that gap's been closed significantly, if not all the way. And then they budgeted to enclose the lap pool with architectural membrane cover, which was estimated to cost about $300,000. So the property has closed, and this is where tricky, and I'm going to sort of push some numbers for you here. The site did start getting cleared some. The house and the building that were on the property, which is a former commercial property right there on 13, have been raised, and they were projecting a 2021 January opening date. At this point, I would say you're probably looking at closer to spring, late spring 2021. Once all the final plans and things are approved that are being submitted as we speak. And they were looking at a May 2021 opening for the swimming pools there. So let me get out of that, and I'm going to show you. That was a little bit short and is a little different than what was presented at the meeting in the town of Cape Charles. This I received last week was updated rendering for the exterior of the building because they had to do some different things as far as parking and stuff. So this is what the front of the building would look like facing 13 and the side of the building where the majority of the parking is. One of the updates they had to make was to allow for handicap parking in the front of the building. That wasn't on the first rendering, and that was quickly recognized and noted that that had to be fixed. This gray place over here is where you're going to see the pool go in, and this is the back side of the building. Again, the parking side of the building, which would be on Parsons Circle. So when you enter the YMCA, the entrance will be off Parsons Circle, but the building will front 13. Again, just a couple more pictures of what the building is looking like through the artist rendering. And then there's a total facility picture with the circle drive and the handicap parking up front, the pool area designated over here, and then another sort of aerial rendering of the facility to this point. Okay. For those of you that don't know where the site is, I'll have another PowerPoint that I will bring up that's a little different. Okay. So these are just some of the numbers, the projections for the building. Looking at a 15,000 square foot building at approximately 120 foot per square cost. Outdoor pool, the land purchase is in there right around $500,000. The site work, office building and program equipment, health and fitness equipment, which is very expensive. And I'll tell you, one of the things that's going to be interesting about this is once you get this wine in your community, we do every 3 to 4 years update all of the cardio equipment. Portions of our membership go into a pot called our equipment funding plan. And what that means is $4 from every membership goes in this pot so that every 3 to 4 years we can replace equipment and keep things fresh. Okay, so that's how we got to the number of 4.5. And this is where the site is. So again, if you're coming out Stone Road out of Cape Charles, here's the Route 13 light. The YMCA will be here in this general area there. And that is the end of that presentation. So, are there any questions?
Hey, Andre, you might want to elaborate just a bit that the corner that's being farmed is actually VDOT property, and you know it showed up on that picture, but it's not obvious sometimes if you're not familiar with the site.
Sure, I will. I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is the stoplight at Route 13. Everything within the yellow is the property and the site that the YMCA purchased. This corner right here, which is right next to the light on 13, and that corner going on Stone Road, is all VDOT property. So when you look over and you see all the farming and stuff like that, and that there's nothing happening, that's because that's not our property. And there has been some confusion on that in the past.
Thanks.
Yep.
Andre,
Yes, sir.
the main entrance you said is going to be on, what is that?
Stone Road right here.
Stone Road? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Parsons Circle.
Parsons Circle. I'm sorry. Thank you. Stone
Oh.
Road's the one going in Cape Charles.
Right.
Thank you, John.
Okay. All right.
It looks
But
like the road.
that's a little bit of a backwater road. Are they going to be upgrading that road down to the entranceway? It's
Yes,
pretty
there will be.
narrow.
Yes, that's part of the plan, is to upgrade so that the entrance is accessible.
Okay.
Is that road go all the way down to Stone Road then?
Running around.
It does. Parsons Circle, if you follow it all the way around, goes past, I believe that's Tower Hill Estates there.
Yeah.
And then
Okay,
around
I
the
know.
backside, and
I know
it meets
that.
Stone Road here. Yeah.
I know that, but it looks like there's a road, a little access road in front of the Y that goes
this-
up and down to Stone Road.
So yeah. So what happened? That there is an access road there. That's not going to be a public road. That is, when Phil Morris owned the property, he had his business here, and that was his house, and that was the driveway that took him out to Stone Road. So he had a driveway that went that way and that way.
Yeah, I think, Andre, that, and they determined it's too close to the light to have an entrance off of Stone Road, and you can see that it's still in the curve of the deceleration there a little bit. So
Right.
yeah, the road will come in, if you're coming from Cape Charles, the way to go would be turn left at the storage facility and go around that way. If you're coming south, you would come in off of 13.
So this previous driveway will be closed.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right. Any other questions at this point?
Okay, well, Andre, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Andre.
for joining us. And if anything comes up later, we'll get back to you.
One quick question.
Yes.
Andre, when is the Y up in only going to?
Okay, great question. We are planning to open the YMCA and only this Thursday, the 11th. We're doing it at 30% of our normal capacity. We will have, for those of you that are members up here and or that have friends that are members up here, we have some tools that are on our website that will show you where we are capacity-wise, and you can also reserve swimming lanes and spots and exercise classes during this phase 2 part of the Virginia's reopening. We are doing everything we can to keep people as safe as we possibly can. With temperature checks and screening questionnaires and different things like that. As much as I, I'm happy to see the business get back opened up, I will say, if you're a person at high risk, don't come. I do feel like, and this is just me personally, I do feel like, it's not necessary to take unnecessary risks. So, but we're going to do everything we can on our end to try to keep people safe, including staff.
Okay. Thanks again, Andre.
Yep.
And
Stan,
the Cape Charles Rotary has always got an open door for you. In fact, you get a free lunch whenever you're in Cape Charles on a Tuesday afternoon.
I'm going to have to join y'all for lunch some. I'm going to miss some of my Nancock meetings in the mornings. And Stan, give me a call offline and I'll tell you everything that you need to know if you want to come up and work out.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right.
I'm getting stiff.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, Bill.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks again. Al and Joan, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon again. Meanwhile, if you will tee up Diane. Oh, our next week's speaker is Kenny James, and you're going to enjoy his presentation on building membership. So with regard to what we think, say, and do, 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Stanley, what is number 5?
Will we have fun?
Thank you so much.
All right, good meeting.
Very good.
All right, bye-bye.